What's up, guys? I want to talk to you for a minute about why we are in the position that we're in right now as a nation and even as globally. The reason we're almost a year into this pandemic is because when this whole thing first started and president came on TV, told everyone to stay home, not to go to work, and to just stop what you're doing for 2 weeks. And the reason we're still in this pandemic is because everyone obeyed willingly. For 2 weeks, everyone willingly stayed at home and obeyed. And then they made it official and said, nope, the pandemic's here to stay. It's going to be 2 more weeks under official lockdown now. Everyone remembers it as lockdown. What were you doing during lockdown? Blah, 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 blah. And the only reason people are wearing masks today, that it's mandatory, is because they willingly did it when they were told to originally, before it was a mandate. And once they had 90 to 100% compliance, then they made her mandatory. I never realized that this country was under such a delusion that we could go from 0 to full-blown mask wearing within 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months is all it took for 90 to 95% of the population to be all masked up. I know there's some people who refuse, like me, but they're few and far between, especially in some states like New York, California. I go into every establishment here in South Carolina and in Texas. When I was in Texas, barefaced. No mask, never. Never had confrontations. There was a couple instances where I had confrontations in the very beginning, and I just turned around and walked out. Once was at a Goodwill, and once was at a recycling center. Small time organization. And I just went somewhere else. But ever since then, I usually give the door greeters the silent treatment, because I'm not going to submit to orders that can't be enforced unless I submit, because that's what these mandates require. These mandates are not laws. They're somewhat becoming laws, but a mandate requires your consent. So when they tell you you have to wear a mask and you do it, that's consent to wearing the mask. Although a silent consent, it is still consent. You put the mask on and you comply with the orders. They're not laws. They're not lawful orders either. They are simply corporate policies. They're mandates, orders, executive orders, which apply to the executive branch of the world. Federal government, federal employees. The mandates apply to federal employees. If you are not a federal employee, then you are not required to obey the mandate unless you consent. And that's how they trick you. Because that's the name of their game. The name of their game is deceit. They're after your obedience. They're after your allegiance. They're after your soul. They want you to be more obedient to them than you are to God. And in essence, they become the God of your life, which you are more faithful and obedient to than you are the one you claim to worship. So people really need to take a good hard look at what's really going on and actually employ some critical thinking into what's actually going on. And need to realize that in these last days, the devil's out for your soul, and he uses deception and witchcraft as his main tools in which to deceive. So, pray. Pray as much as you can and draw closer and closer to God while there's still time.